Ryan Whitlow.
Brandon Spivey.
And we are the Markout Movie Podcasters. And in today's episode, we're bringing back the horror section, which was something that was on Shudder, but it's no longer on Shudder. So Brandon had to get on Amazon. I bought it at a store, a thrift store almost. Same price though.
Same price, $3.99.
$3.99. What's the luck of that happening, right?
There's no chance of it happening again.
Yeah. But yeah, so I bought the film, but we're gonna go ahead and jump into it. I will read. Let's see. I'm gonna read the Google synopsis of The Fog from 1980. Strange things begin to occur as a tiny California coastal town prepares to commemorate its centenary. Guys, I'm so sorry. Centurion. Let's say that. I don't know. You know what I mean.
I know what you mean because I'm looking right at it.
Inanimate objects spring early to life. Reverend Malone stumbles upon a dark secret about the town's founding. Radio announcer Stevie witnesses a mystical fire, and hitchhiker Elizabeth discovers the mutilated corpse of a fisherman. Then a mysterious iridescent fog descends upon the village. More and more people start to die. That is not the order of events in this movie, but okay. Brandon, hit us with the number. Oh, it stars Adrienne Barbeau, Tom Atkins, Hal Holbrook, and Jamie Lee Curtis and Janet Leigh, among other people that was been in other John Carpenter films. Go ahead, hit us with the numbers.
Yeah, like Nancy Loomis. She had a little role in this. Yeah, the numbers are 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb. Metacritic gives us a 55%, 89% like us on Google, 74% like it on the Rotten Tomato meter. As far as critics go, the audience score is a little lower though. Only 64% like this movie.
That is pretty low.
But especially for a Carpenter film during that. I mean, it's an 80s Carpenter film. I mean, right? I think it was right after Halloween too. I mean,
it doesn't have as much love though. So you have Carpenter did. I'm not going to count like the Eyes of Laura Mars or anything like that. So, or Elvis. But he did. He did the Halloween, and then after Halloween, I want to say, like he did Escape on Precinct 13 first, then Halloween. I think and then after Halloween, he did. I want to say he did this. It's 1980 because Halloween was 78.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's when he got into like The Thing, I think, or maybe Christine, one of them. I don't know his. I don't know chronology.
I think Christine came out in 81. I could be wrong, but I want to say it came out in 81. I think 82 was The Thing.
Yeah.
But again, I could be wrong. I don't have those numbers in front of me, but I could be wrong. Either way, though, I mean, it was still an 80s film. Carpenter was coming off Halloween. Mm-hmm. You would think most people would have dug this movie. I mean, 1980.
Speaking of Carpenter, so at the very beginning of this movie, there is a cameo by John Carpenter. I recognized him right off the top. I'm like, hey, there's John Carpenter. Because, John Carpenter had that long hair. Now he's like, he doesn't have the hair as he used to.
No, he doesn't have that kind of hair anymore.
I still like you, John. But and he had he had the mustache. He looked like it was John Carpenter. You know what I'm saying? It's just like
John Carpenter.
Yeah, it's like he stepped out from behind the camera and said, "All right, here, let me do this role real quick," and then went back to being behind the camera.
It was like he wanted to be Alfred Hitchcock right there.
Yeah.
Little cameo.
And then in Halloween, I know I'm not gonna chase too many rabbits. Brandon's gonna keep me from doing that. But in Halloween, he's not in there, but his smoke is seen in one scene because he was a chain smoker. He is still a chain smoker, and his smoke was seen bellowing onto the screen as
all about that smoke.
Yeah,
And that's a good segue to the fog.
it really is. But yeah, man. So the movie starts off. Now I don't recall the exact beginning because it didn't stand out to me as much as the beginning of when
Oh,
the
it's
fog
the second
happens.
fire scene. They're talking about Spivey Point, which my last name is Spivey. And Russellville Road comes in later. But Spivey
Russell
Point
Road.
is like he's telling his ghost story, basically, to these kids. And it always stood out. Spivey Point stood out. Even you mentioned that.
Yeah,
Spivey Point. Huh. Who did he know?
yeah. He must have known the Spivey in Russellville.
Yeah.
So, all right, Russellville is mentioned, Russellville Road. Clay
Yeah.
Street here in Bowling Green is mentioned. And then also Richardsville Road, I think he mentioned Richardsville Road. And then the 31W bypass, uh, which he mentions that, like, you can tell John liked Bowling Green. Although if you ask him, he'll probably say he didn't, but he liked it. He liked this enough to mention the town, right? So
Oh, he loves it. He loves the town at least because it's I always thought, Haddonfield looked like Russellville a little bit, especially in the suburban areas where the houses are. 'Cause I had a friend that he lived in Russellville. His houses looked like I came out of Haddonfield. I swear to God, late at night, I was like, I felt like I was in Haddonfield.
mm,
It creeped me out. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, he had to love it. I mean, otherwise he wouldn't have put that much influence into Halloween with the
well,
town.
I feel like in Halloween, I could see Bowling Green a lot in it. Of course,
Well, I
his
see Bowling
name's
Green in it too.
yeah, Warren
Definitely.
County is named that. Warren County is where Haddonfield resides. But yeah, so I feel a lot of Bowling Green in it, but especially like characters like Mr. Elrod. Yeah, I think it's the character name in Halloween. Um, you don't ever see him, but you hear of him. But like Elrod Road is a road here in Warren County, so
Yeah.
it's like he's the influence is there, but I'm glad it carried over into the fog. Segueing back to there, I don't think he really mentioned it in any of his other films. I think that was the gist of it. Now, Tommy Wallace, who's a character named in this one, named after Tommy Lee Wallace, John's friend and director of Halloween 3 and It chapter, It, Stephen King's It TV version. Now, Tom Lee Wallace mentions Lambkin Park and things like that in his movies as well because he's from Bowling Green. But a lot of people don't show him as much love. But I'm going to show him love right now. Tom Lee Wallace, thank you for being from here. Um, anyway, back to it, man. So the beginning, what do you think about the town coming
We
alive?
were we talking about when the fog appears or
Yeah,
the actual beginning of the ghost stories? But
no,
I liked it. I thought the atmospheric was what?
yeah, no, yeah. Like not so much the ghost story. Like me personally, I didn't care for the ghost stories. Uh, I
It,
think
it,
that it served a purpose, but I just didn't like it.
I mean, it felt if I can, I think Friday the 13th Part 2 stole it from the fog here, and the burning as well. It kind of reminded me of those particular scenes where they be by a campfire talking, telling ghost stories. I don't think I had seen it before Friday 13th Part 2. Obviously, hadn't seen the fog before, so but I liked it. I mean, it felt like 80s horror, but this is like a ghost story movie, but it doesn't feel like a ghost story movie. And I think you pointed that out to me earlier. You feel it's kind of like Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, towards the end. But
Yeah,
also, I feel like in watching this movie, I had this moment where I was looking at this movie and I was thinking, I didn't realize this movie was a slasher. you know,
yeah,
I had that moment of the epiphany where I was like, this is a slasher film. And it
yeah,
really is. Like the
yeah. It
the
is.
the way that the fog people kill people is like they like brutally kill them. Like dude gets stabbed
Yeah,
in the face like 5 times, man. You
yeah,
know?
yeah. I mean, but when it first appears, I think it's very atmospheric. It's creepy how the fog appears. Especially towards that ship. Oh my god!
Mhm.
If I'd been on that ship, I think I would. If I could have, I would have just jumped in the water and drowned. But because I can't swim,
Yeah,
so I'm dead either way.
we're gonna talk about that. Let's talk about this real quick though. So we have at the beginning the town coming to life with the like the lights of the cars start going off and the horns. You
Yeah,
have the bottles dropping in the grocery store. Um, you have like all this coming to life, right?
yeah,
And then you see Nancy Lyles, or at that time Nancy Loomis, who was a carpenter. I think she was like he used her more than Jamie Lee at one point because she was
oh
in like
yeah,
she was in West Name as well. Uh, uh, I saw her in Precinct 13,
yeah,
Halloween, and this. So she was like in 3 films like back to back, right?
yeah. If she's in, I mean, I haven't seen like a lot of her work, but yeah, you're right. She's in these three films, maybe more. I mean, I don't know, but uh, it was refreshing to see her. I liked her in Halloween a lot. I actually liked her. I thought she was more entertaining than Jamie Lee, which is very controversial
Facts,
to say.
facts, facts.
But I
Nobody
thought she
talks
was
about that.
more.
Nobody talks about
But
that. Facts.
she was a more of an entertaining character than Lori was.
Hmm.
I mean, but you knew she was gonna die. I
And
mean,
but
just,
even in this movie, even in this movie,
yeah,
I marked out when I saw her when she first appeared. I'm like, oh yes, I'm like yes, Nancy, because I loved her in Halloween. And there was one character death that I was really I hated that she died. That was the one
yeah,
character in Halloween I loved. You know what I mean?
yeah. I
Uh,
do know what you mean.
yeah, I mean
Yeah,
PJ
she's a
Souls was cool, but I didn't really care for PJ as much as
yeah.
her. You know?
And Nancy had personality. Of the three, she had the best personality, so it really shined. Every time I watch Halloween, I just smile when I see her because she's fun personality. You care for her. You know, you just care. And in this, it was nice to see her. I wish she would have had a bigger role. I
Mhm.
actually wish she would have had Jamie Lee's role. I think it would have. I hate to say this, but I think it would have made my experience better. Because I
Mm.
didn't really like Jamie Lee in this movie.
She was like more like at one point she was the uncontrollably whiny character. It
Yeah,
felt like. Now I did like seeing her and Janet Leigh playing side by side.
yeah,
I always thought that they only did that once in Halloween H2O. I didn't realize that they were in this movie together. So that was pretty cool to see that as well. Janet
yeah,
Leigh being from Psycho, the legendary first kill in Psycho.
yeah,
Um,
legendary.
that is legendary. She
I mean,
is the
that's
legendary.
you don't get
She's
more classic
iconic.
than that. You
Yeah.
just you just don't. But yeah, also I gotta give him a shout out, Tom Atkins. Oh God, I love him. He's great in this movie. I thought.
Tom Atkins. I
But
love Tom Atkins.
yeah, Halloween 3. But for me, Night of the Creeps.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to
Real
mention
me.
somebody else in this movie that was like I really loved when they popped up. Charles Cyphers, who played Dan O'Bannon. He was the
Yeah,
he was the guy that would call into the radio and talk to
yeah,
Adrian Barbeau, and just his character, man. Like when I seen him, I'm like, oh man, Sheriff Brackett, man. I just
yep.
like I immediately go to his role in Halloween. Just he's just he seems like just a down to earth character actor, and
Yeah.
and that was a death I didn't particularly care for, but getting to the deaths here. So you mentioned the crew that was on the boat. Um, and didn't they feel like a real crew, like a real
Yeah, I believe they were.
comrades?
Yeah, I believe they were a real crew on that boat. And like I said, when that fog is coming, it's atmospheric. but it's so creepy how it comes at you, especially in the water. You know, on the water, I should say. It's just really creepy, and I was like, if I was seeing this, I'd be jumping out of the boat. I just would. I wouldn't wait for this fog to hit me. I would not.
Hmm.
You know.
What's name said Tommy Wallace, the character of Tommy Wallace in this movie, says there's no fog on the bank. Hey, there's a fog on the bank. Something like that. You know,
Yeah.
man, and that's the first kill. So at one point, you'll figure that the only way to die is to be directly in the fog, because they would knock on the door, and I would think if you open the door, then you are opening up to death. But I was wondering in watching this, what if you just don't answer the door when they knock? Like,
They will find a way to come in. They will. But I like how you pointed that out, though, that you have to open the door for them. It's kind of like vampires. You have to let them in. You have to give them that approval. But yeah, but and I ain't gonna spoil the ending just yet or talk about the ending. But that guy did not let them in. They
yeah.
found a way in though. But yeah, it was a very good when the fog first appears and takes its first victim. It was very atmospheric. I keep saying that, but it was. I loved how John shot this movie.
Hmm.
I love the angles. I love his angles anyway, but specifically in this movie, I think I enjoyed his camera work or cinematography better than I did Halloween. Uh, but
Well,
I really enjoyed it. I
well,
really enjoyed his vision.
we're going to talk about that real quick. And this is what people might see as controversial for me to say this, but I will say this. So, I'm a huge Halloween fan. I am.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely. I cannot deny that I'm a fan of Halloween. I own it. I own every single one of them, and I own multiple copies and versions of the original Halloween film. On everything from Blu-ray to DVD to VHS. I own them. So with John's work, it seems like with Halloween, it's still beautiful. It's atmospheric. You can feel like it's Halloween. You can feel like it's really that time frame, and you can feel everything that you're seeing. But I feel that as John went along in his career as a director, I feel like with each thing that he shot, his vision got more clearer and clearer. It's you
yeah.
see what I'm saying? Like,
I feel it.
yeah,
Yeah,
so in this one, his vision is getting clearer and clearer, and you can, like you said, you can feel the atmosphere. You felt like it's almost like reminds me of Jaws in the sense of you felt like that small town was a real town. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? You felt that these are real people that live in this town, and I love that feeling. You don't. It's not like you're watching a movie. It's like you're visiting a town, and this is happening. You see what I'm saying?
yeah. It's like you're living the experience with them.
Absolutely. And I think that he, like with the thing and everything else that he did, especially there in the '80s, I think that his vision got more and more clearer, and his shooting technique got better and better as he went along. And so I think that I would agree with you that the cinematography, his shooting style in this was better than what it was in Halloween. Although Halloween was great, but you
Yeah,
can feel it's more put together now. You know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I know it'd be hard for some people to accept that because it's Halloween, but and I'm not saying this movie's better than Halloween. It doesn't come close in my opinion. But his shooting style was better, I thought. You know, his work, was better. I just don't feel the story was better, and I don't feel the ghost had the presence of Michael Myers. Uh, but the shooting style, I think, was better.
Yeah, and I honestly do believe that honestly it needed to be like, I know that there was reshoots and stuff like that to give it more gore for as the
Yeah,
times, as like with Halloween 2. he wanted to up the gore because it was all Friday 13th
Yeah.
that created the modern slasher film. And that made John Carpenter and everybody after John, or everybody after John, and I'm not even talking about the first Friday 13th. I'm talking about like Friday, the second one. That's the one that really upped it. And so I think that everybody just started kind of mimicking that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I do think it happened. It was the result of the first movie, even though it didn't. I don't not the gore necessarily, but the body count.
The
I
body
think,
count. Yeah.
yeah, the gore really picked up. I think it picked up in the second movie, but I think the gore really found its way in the third movie. Because I think that's probably one of the goriest Friday 13th films. That one and 4.
Well, Friday 13th was 1980 as well, the
Yeah.
first one. And I'm curious to know whether I'm curious to know which one came out first. You see what I'm saying? Like I would say probably Friday 13th came out.
I think this one came out first. It came out February 1st, 1980.
Okay.
I would go with the Fog.
Okay. But I know that the fog. I do know that there was a lot of reshoots with the fog, to kind of up the goriness.
Yeah.
Up the brutality of it. So
Yeah, I think maybe I have a problem with that. I don't think it was needed for the story they were really telling. Because when you think of ghost stories, I mean, for me anyway, I don't really think of gore, when I think of a ghost story. Not especially not today, I don't. But I don't know. I just didn't feel like it felt like he was combining a ghost story with a slasher movie, and I don't know. And the result was the Fog.
Yeah, and elements of a zombie movie too. So
Yeah,
because all right, so with the movie we have Jamie Lee Curtis and Tom Atkins, that she's a hitchhiker and he picks her up and they're in the car, and then all of a sudden the fog or something causes his windows to break out, and then we go around to the different parts of the town, but then when we come back to them, like they're in bed together. I'm like, oh man, that's fast. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
That was like, okay. So, and then he like literally says, hey, what's your name? Like, hey,
Tom likes to work fast, though.
hey, he does. I mean,
He
if you look
does.
at,
He really does. He's very
hey,
quick.
he's very quick.
And I don't mean in that way. I just mean he's smooth. I remember my conversation with him in Louisville, I believe it was. It could have been Nashville, but I want to say it was Louisville. He was just very quick with his responses. He was cool though. I loved him. I love Tom. Oh,
yeah. He's one of those. And he's still around, guys. He's still kicking it, man.
yeah. He's gonna be in the what was that movie? I forget now.
You just
The
recently watched that
Collector.
one.
The Collector 3. He's gonna be in the Collector 3. It's not a big horror movie franchise, but it is a franchise, and it will be going to theaters if they ever open up again.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think that he's a good character actor. But yeah, so in this movie they were together, so they was kind of paired off, and then you have Adrienne Barbeau, who's essentially by herself, in
Yeah.
the tower. Is that Joey Lawrence? That's her son, or is that he
No,
looks like?
I don't think it was Joey.
For a second, I thought it was Joey or one of the Lawrences.
But it feels like she's never at home.
Yeah, she's like a pretty bad mom. But no, she's never at home. She's a radio DJ, but the radio station is in Lighthouse for some reason. Is
Yeah.
she a radio DJ? Does she play music? Or she
Yeah.
just talks?
I was thinking there was a little music in there, but
But yeah,
it was
so
at the beginning though. So I was thinking she was a radio DJ, but maybe she's like maybe she's not.
Maybe she's the lighthouse keeper or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she's pretty much there, isolated. The most that she has is a conversation with Charles Cyphers, Dan O'Bannon. Um, you know, he calls in at time to time, kind of flirt with her, things like that. And I love their chemistry together.
Yeah.
Um, but and then you have Janet Leigh, who is helping to try to get the town prepared for its centennial. I said it, kind of. So she's trying to get the town prepared, and her helper is Nancy,
Yeah.
Sandy in this movie. Um, and let's see, another one is you have Father Malone, who is at the church. He's the priest in the town,
Yeah.
and he knows the secret. Um, those are the main ones that to notice. Um, hey, Tommy Lee Wallace actually played one of the ghosts. Go figure.
You knew John had to get him in there. I mean,
I like how he named like Nick Castle and stuff like that. Like we mentioned
yeah.
that before, like how John uses the same actors, and he also references to people that John's very, man. If you're loyal to him, man, he uses you. Um,
Yeah, and that's a trend that's kept on going in horror. I mean, Rob Zombie does the same thing. James Wan, he does it.
uh,
It's a trend. And what's his name?
Mike Flanagan, he uses the same
Yeah,
people.
yeah, Mike Flanagan. Yeah, so it's I don't know if John started it, but it's definitely kept going. It's a trend in Hollywood in horror. Uh, you know, but yeah, I love that he uses the same people though. It brings familiarity. It brings you're if you like these people, like these character actors, you're gonna probably enjoy the movie. You know, but I love the fact that he did that in the '80s, and I guess Hitchcock probably did it first. I would assume. A lot of people were influenced by Hitchcock. Then they were influenced by Carpenter. So
But it's good though. I
yeah,
like
it's a good thing.
it, and plus it allows people to like get to know and get to form new horror icons. People that
Yeah,
that's it, like Hammer Films for instance. They used Vincent Price, and they used uh man, I can't think of anybody else's Christopher Lee. And people like that. They used people often in a lot of their stuff. And so that's why Vincent Price is to me a horror icon, or was a horror icon, and Christopher Lee was a horror icon. But
yeah.
Christopher's dead now.
Yeah, I think he passed away last year or
Yeah,
2018.
yeah,
Uh,
and
uh,
him, and then like other people. That's what I'm saying. Like those people became horror icons, and that's why people like that and Jamie Lee Curtis and stuff, because for either A, they stayed in the genre and was in multiple films, or B, one director would use them in most of the stuff. Like, and I give credit to people bounce on him and stuff. I give credit to Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler does that too. Like with his crew, he's loyal. Like if you're loyal to Adam Sandler, he's gonna use you in his stuff. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Adam definitely uses the same people over and over, and I love that fact. Although the bonds are really strong with those people, and I love seeing them all together,
Mm-hmm.
especially for like a grown-ups type of movie. I love it, but um, so during the fog here, I wanted to get your opinion on this. I know we
Mm-hmm.
mentioned it earlier, but when it comes at the car and breaks the car window, did did you feel anything when that happened?
Like, do I
Were you
feel it?
into it?
No, I wasn't. I was into more of the, not so much the breaking of the windows, but the most suspense I felt was two places I felt suspense. One it is one after the other. So one is when they were trying to get into the boy's house, to get the
Oh yeah.
boy out. Um,
Yeah.
Adrian Barbeau's son out of the house because the fog was closing in to kill him, I assume. Um, and then two is when they got him and tried to get out of the mud, you know, and they was trying to get out of the mud. I felt that suspense, but not so much when they breaking the windows of the cars and stuff like that. It's more
Yeah.
suspenseful for me if the fog is coming in. It reminds me almost like The Mist. What's creepy about Stephen King's The Mist is you see the mist and you know that there's something in the mist. So if the mist comes over you or comes around you, then there's a likely chance you're going to die. That's what I liked about the mist, is that element of it. But of this, when it's breaking the windows and stuff, just to me, now what would have been better is instead of breaking the windows, when the mist comes around them, you see the hands of the people on the car is like covering it and start shaking it or whatever. That would have been better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I feel you. And I'm not saying I had suspense in that scene, but I did feel a little something. But yeah, I guess that was probably more time. I just don't think Jamie very good in this movie. I hate to say that. I love Jamie Lee Curtis, but I just don't think she was that good. That's why I said I thought Nancy Loomis would have been better for that role. I think she would have pulled it off better. But and again, that's controversial, but it's
yeah.
just that's how I felt watching, and I felt like she should have had a bigger character in the movie than she did,
Well,
and
I
then
feel.
she knocked it out of the park.
Mhm.
The character she had, but
I feel like Jamie Lee Curtis at this point. So she did Halloween in '79 or '78,
yeah,
'78. And then like she followed it up with this, and then shortly thereafter, I think a couple, maybe a year or so later, she did Prom Night. Then like didn't she do like
she did a movie called Terror Train as
Terror
well.
Train? Yeah, like so she did like a few little horror films, but I think by that point she's kind of burnt out on horror. And so that's probably when like Trading Places came up and there was like a breath of
Yeah,
fresh air for her. She's like, comedy, yes, give me that.
yeah,
And
she was coming at the Scream Queen. Yeah,
but she
and,
not everybody, and I can say that too for about her. She probably didn't want to be a scream queen. Now she's now accepted it and accepted it as an honor. You know what I mean? But
yeah, she
then
has.
she was a young actress, and she's probably trying to get out from under the shadow of her mom too. So it's like a
Yeah,
lot of elements. She came from a famous
yeah,
family, so you
yeah.
know.
You never want to get typecast, and that was probably a fear of hers getting typecast as a Scream Queen. And that's it. And thankfully, she did get Trading Places. And I can remember, she did My Girl and she did True Lies.
And Fish Called Wanda, and she
Yeah,
did.
Fish Call Wanda.
Yeah, True
So
Lies was like one of my favorite cause films with her in because she played a character that was not a sexy lady at first. She didn't appear
yeah,
sexy, but then she became sexy in order to, like in the movie. And I just loved her and Arnold. Thought they had great chemistry together.
yeah.
So, um,
But then she came back for H2O, and she's really never left the genre. I mean, she,
Freaky Friday. She did
continues
Freaky
to play
Friday.
Lori. I mean, she could. But yeah, I mean, she was. I mean, I love her. I mean, I think I agree with you that she was probably burnt out. She's probably done 3 or 4 in a row. I'm just assuming here. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know, but
neither one of us
it
know
feels
Jamie Lee
like
Curtis personally.
no, we don't know her.
We're just assuming.
But I just a big fan though. Both of us are. I love her work.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, if a movie came out today, not other than Halloween, but if another movie come out and Jamie Lee Curtis is in it, then I will watch it. Like, for instance, we both like Knives Out. She was in that movie. She's fantastic in
Yeah,
that movie.
yeah, she's
So
really good.
she's able to do it. She can bounce now in her career because she took a break from horror. I
Yeah,
feel this is just all my opinion, folks. Since she took a break from horror and did comedy and did drama and did things like that, she can bounce back between the genres, and she can do that. Not many actresses can do that. Reese Witherspoon can't do a horror. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Has she
it's
ever done one?
huh?
I don't think
She
she's ever done
I
one.
don't think she's ever really done a horror. She did some suspense stuff, but
Yeah,
yeah, she ain't really did a horror though. I feel.
yeah, I don't think she has. It'd be interesting to see her in a horror film,
Yeah,
but she missed that boat though to be the teenage horror icon. But yeah, but getting back to the fog here, I agree with you on the kid scene. And the fog's coming for him at the house. I think one of the biggest moments for me though was, I can forget his name, but he played Sheriff Brackett. Now you mentioned you didn't really like, or I'm not sure if you didn't like him the scene, or if you didn't just like him getting killed.
yeah, I didn't
But
like him getting killed. I liked him. I liked the scene, and I liked
yeah,
the
that
suspense
was
in it.
one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I hated that it happened because he's such a likable character.
Hmm.
Again, these Halloween alumni people, they you just love to watch them. But he was really likable. I hated that he died, but I love the scene. It was one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
You know,
Um,
I mean, it is what it is, man. Like people that there's character actors that you just love,
yeah.
and you don't want to see nothing happen to them. And I'll give you, and I'm not gonna chase too many rabbits, but it's kind of connected. Halloween 2018, the guy that played the new sheriff, he's the
Oh
guy
yeah,
that's in train not Train Day, but he's the guy in the Remember
Armageddon.
the Titans and
Remember
Armageddon.
the Titan?
Yeah, I hated when he died in that movie. Like it
Will
really,
Patton.
I was so mad. I was like literally, I was mad. I was
Yeah,
like,
it's a
no, oh my gosh, and it just
heartbreaking scene. It
man,
really is.
oh, it irritated me because I hated the guy that killed him. I just hated that. Oh my gosh, even thinking about it just ticks me off because
So,
I was
therefore,
hoping that
everyone that
I was hoping he was gonna be the new Loomis. I was hoping he was gonna be the new Loomis. That guy. That's what I was hoping for.
well, I mean, I would have loved for Will Patton to be the new Lewis. Man, he was when he got cast. I got excited because I know he's an amazing character actor. But yeah, I hated that scene too. I hated that guy that killed him as well. I understood, but I hated it. I understood his motivation and everything, but God, he's so stupid.
Yeah, and the thing is, I was honestly hoping that he didn't really kill him. They just hurt him,
Yeah,
and then like so he can be in the sequel. But no, they made sure of it. He's dead. He's
yeah,
dead.
he's dead. He's gone.
But
We
yeah,
are getting Anthony Michael Hall.
I'm happy about that. And then Charles Cipher is returning, so yeah, that's
Yeah,
good. Sheriff Brackett, but yeah, so to get back to Fog, my point is uh, Charles Cyphers or Dan O'Bannon, I think his name in this movie. He was just such a likable character, and you really felt suspense and everything. And then also with Adrienne Barbeau, she did great voice work. Uh, like almost like the audience. She was almost the audience saying, "Get out the house! Don't answer the door! Don't go this! Do the, you know?" She was really that voice, and but the ending, I guess, is the time to talk about the ending.
yeah.
All right, so the ending makes no sense to me. Um, so it makes sense a
They all
little
gather
bit.
at the church.
Yeah, they're at the church. We have I'm not gonna remember everybody, but Janet Lee's there. I think Nancy's there.
Yeah,
I'm gonna just call these people by their real name. Jamie Lee Curtis is there. Tom Atkins. Hal Holbrook.
basically the essentials.
Yeah, and then Adrienne Barbeau is still over the radio and at the lighthouse, so she's the only one that isn't there. Her son is actually at the church as well. So the ghost pirates start to descend upon the church, and and trying to break in. And this is what I mentioned, Brandon, that felt more like a Night of the Living Dead zombie movie more than a ghost movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean by that when they're trying to break in and everything. And yeah, it like they didn't like I know they got killed 100 years ago and they're celebrating the 100-year anniversary or whatever. Uh to these people that actually killed these people, even though that's not what they're celebrating, but it kind of is. uh, so I guess that's why they're getting revenge on them. But I don't understand why you're killing everybody. Like I know what they did in the remake; they killed the people, the family members,
Yeah,
to these
see,
people.
but this one didn't. Like at first, you think that's what it was. It's the family members, but honestly,
No.
they are they are unprejudiced in this, man. They just going after everyone. You
Yeah,
know,
I think their goal was to kill everybody in that town, to wipe it out. I think that was what the goal was. It's
yeah.
what it looked like the goal was.
And I will give
But
you credit for the remake for narrowing it down to say, okay, they're coming after just
yeah, yeah, that's
descendants.
one thing I did like about the remake more than this. You knew exactly why they were doing what they were doing the whole movie. You knew their motivation.
Mhm.
Uh, but killing everybody that had nothing to do with none of these people had anything to do with it that you're killing. But killing people, family members that had nothing to do with it, just didn't make a lot of sense. And that's my issue with this movie. It is the story. I didn't love the story.
The ending is like, and I said this, like, Act One was great, right?
Yeah,
Act Two was pretty great too, but it was that third act where it just, tripped and fell.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And then it hurt his leg and just limped into the finish. That's what I felt like it did. Like, and I thought the finish was like it's like, here, take your gold, and then like they pretty much take it and they leave, right? But then
yeah,
like they thought it's over, but then they have that stupid ending scare thing that was pointless. Like the fall comes back in, and then they are there again, and he turns around, and then the uh the reverend gets killed.
yeah. I think I'm gonna just assume here. I'm gonna assume that's a studio decision. Set it up for a possible sequel. That's you know, John and studios butted heads a lot.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons that he left, I think, and did his own, independent stuff. Because of studios wouldn't let him make his movie that he saw fit. His vision. They wouldn't let him do it. I think that's probably what happened here. They were setting up a sequel. It's kind of like a New Line in Nightmare on Elm Street. Wes never planned for there to be a sequel,
Mm.
but the studio got their wish. He reshot the ending. So
And that's
I,
what
th- I think that's why it looks from that ending to that extra scene. It looks like the studio stepped in.
and that's probably what it is. I think that like movies then, it's like studios start. That's when studios start to really get greedy and
Oh
like
yeah,
and see the money, see the dollar signs when it came to sequels. They're like, okay, how can we set up for a sequel? Okay, let's have Jason pop out the water, or let's have Michael get up and not be there when they look down, or let's have uh, the fog come in and kill this guy, or another one, Nightmare on Elm Street. Let's have Nancy and her friends like for some strange reason they're all alive, and they get in the car, and then the car is driven by Freddy, and 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 her mom just pulled through the window. It just makes like what I'm saying. Just
yeah,
but it's set up. They're like, oh man, let's see the next one
yeah. I
because
mean, some of them though, you were like, yes, we're gonna get another one. And even today, I look,
Halloween, yes, she was like that. When Michael wasn't
yeah,
there, you're like, oh yes, I can't wait to see the next one.
you know, uh, like if like I never saw Nightmare, Friday 13th, the original first. I saw the sequel first, but if I had saw the first one, I would have been confused because even as a little boy, I knew that was a dream sequence. It's clearly a dream sequence. It didn't really happen, but they made it happen in the sequel. You know, I don't know if they even really made it happen, to be honest, because he's a grown man in the sequel. So
Mm-hmm.
you can't explain the Friday the 13th movies, but it's its own. You just use your own logic, I guess. But if I would have, like I said, if I would have been watching it in 1980, I wouldn't have thought that movie would have got a sequel. There's no way. How do you do a sequel? Jason's dead. Mom's dead. End of the story. But, you know,
And
studios
they never
make money.
explained. They never explained. Like no version. And I know we're not even talking about Friday the 13th for real, but no version of that movie has ever explained why Jason was alive. Because the mom doing what she did was because Jason died on the camp leader's watch.
Yeah.
They should have been paying attention watching, but instead they're out having sex and whatever else, and he drowned. You know, that's what happened.
There is a loophole in that because the trucker says they never found a body. So my theory is he never drowned. He lived in those woods out at Camp Crystal Lake all that time.
But never went back home to his mother to.
Yeah,
You know,
it
like,
don't make.
it don't make sense.
Half of it makes sense. Okay, he survived, but did he not know where he lived? Did he not ask for help? I mean, you know, but that's the logic of Friday the 13th. You got to look past some things.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you do got to look past some things. You got to check your logic at the door and say, okay.
Yeah, you mean not to.
Because if not, then you won't enjoy it because you'll think, well, that don't make sense. You know,
even with Halloween, I shot him 6 times. You know, I mean, and I know he's not supposed to be human. He's supposed to be this evil force, but he is still, I don't know. I mean, you get different theories on Michael Myers. I know Carpenter said he was an evil force.
That's what I hope that's what I did like, and I'm sorry, but that's what I did like on Halloween 2, like the original Halloween 2 that came out that John did. So I like that I like that they continued it the night of, and so yes, he did fall and he got up injured and he walked off, and that whole POV and stuff at the beginning, and Loomis coming out, I shot him 6 times. I can't believe he's still alive. You know, things like that. You know, and then like him just going through and looking and going in people's houses and taking a knife and things like that. I like that whole beginning of that.
But have you ever called that he only shot him 5 times?
No, I never. No, he shoots him once.
Yeah, there's only 5 gunshots that go off.
He shoots him once. Well, he shoots him once, pow, and he steps back, and then when he comes back in the hallway, he's still standing there, and then he shoots him, pow 1, pow 2, pow 3, pow 4, pow 5. So I think it is 6 shots.
Maybe I'm mistaken, but every time I see that movie, I only hear it go off 5 times.
He shoots him 5 consecutives, but the one of them is the first shot because Nancy stabs him and knocks the mask off. Oh no, pulls the mask off, right? And then like he's standing there and he's putting the mask back on. And then like
I always get caught up in that moment though.
And then
I always get caught up.
And then Loomis shoots him once, and then like he goes back, and then like when Loomis comes around the corner, he's just standing there breathing, and that's when he shoots him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 more. So it is 6 shots, I think. But we should watch it sometime and check it out because I don't remember. But he did say 6. I shot him 6 times.
I know he said 6 times. Yeah, I know he says he shot him 6 times. But I always get caught up in that moment.
Yeah,
that is one of my favorite moments of Halloween. With Loomis shooting him, and it's just the amazing cinematography too during that scene.
But I like that. Yeah, I like that though. So in the new Halloween movie, I assume so. I hope that they do. I think they're gonna go back to night of Halloween '78 to show what happened when he was first captured, perhaps. Which I hope.
Yeah, because you're getting. I read that Loomis is going to be in it. That
Yeah,
era. So it'd
yeah,
be cool to see.
yeah. That'd be cool to
As long as they
see.
don't make any drastic changes.
No, I mean, it should be just simple of him getting like he gets up and walks, and they probably got to pay homage to Halloween 2 for a little bit, but then he gets caught and captured or
Yeah.
something like that because we know that he still got the scar over his face from when Lori stabs him with the crocheting needle, and he still uh, yeah, so he still has all that stuff, but man, I don't know. We didn't got on the Halloween, but
Yeah.
back
That's
back
what
to
happens when you talk Carpenter, though. You can't help but get on Halloween.
yeah.
but but yeah, it didn't really make sense to come back and kill the Reverend. But it happened. I guess we can give our scores now.
Absolutely, we can. So, all right, this is my letterbox score, and I'm going to stick with it. I give this movie 3 stars or 3 markouts out of 5. Um, I think that it was a good movie for its time. Shot well, uh, great. The atmosphere was great. The action was great. For in some parts. Now, Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't as strong as she could have been, but I thought overall it was a good movie. But it wasn't one of my favorite of Carpenter's. But I can give it.
Yeah.
I'll give it 3. I didn't do any higher, and I wouldn't dare do any less.
Yeah. I'm there with you. Markouts. You know, as far as Jamie though, and I probably sounded a little harsh on her, but truthfully, I just don't think the role was for her. Like, I don't think it was a role for her. If that makes any sense,
You
if
think
it was a
you think it would have
secondary.
been better if it was like PJ Souls in their character in their role, or
Oh, my personal opinion, you put Nancy Loomis in that role, and it's perfect. But but PJ probably could have pulled it off too a little bit better. I just felt like I don't want to say beneath Jamie Lee. I know she probably did it for Carpenter, but it felt like she should have been like more of a lead, you know. And she really was. She was really secondary. Uh, but regardless, I do enjoy the movie, and I do think it was a product of its time. I think people in 1980 probably really liked it, despite what the audience score says on Rotten Tomatoes. I would say, and you talk to people about The Fog, John Carpenter, it's beloved. I've heard people say it's just as good as Halloween. I disagree, but it's got that kind of love. And but yeah, you don't hear people talk about it today.
yeah,
Sadly, I mean, I think it's a good movie. I agree with you on the third act. It kind of goes, it dips a little, but still, I think it's a watchable movie for today. But if you're looking for something for fast paced, like this generation does,
yeah.
they're not going to enjoy this movie. I feel it's too slow for them.
Yeah,
But I feel Halloween's too slow for them too. So
yeah. See, horror in the 80s, 70s, and 80s was a lot slower paced. And so it's hard for people to be engaged the whole time with something like that. Like for instance, I think Hereditary, and I think Midsummer and Lighthouse and stuff like that. I think those are all, and Witch. I think they were all like throwbacks to old horror because of the length and the long, slow burn type of movies.
yeah,
And that's what horror used to be, and it built up to like that climactic scare, like Exorcist built up to the exorcism scene. You know, um,
yeah, I agree. The only thing though, I wouldn't. It's I don't know if I really feel that those movies are horror films, but I feel what you're saying. That they're throwbacks. They feel more like well, especially like not Midsummer, but Hereditary and The Lighthouse feel like dramas to me with horror elements. But I recently watched The Lighthouse, and oh my god, terrific acting. By both Robert Pattinson and William Dafoe. Oh my god, Jesus,
yeah.
that's Robert
What you
Pattinson's
mean?
best.
What you mean you don't like Me Lobster? You're fond of Me Lobster. I know you're fond of me, Lobster.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I can't even speak how much I love that movie. Oh, Robert
I'm so
Pattinson is gonna
surprised. I'm
blow
so
Black.
surprised.
I can't even speak. Robert Pattinson's gonna blow Batman out of the water.
Yo, Brandon, I'm gonna say this real quick.
Anyone that
I am so surprised to hear that you say that you like the lighthouse. That's
why?
surprising. I didn't think I wouldn't have in a million years thought you liked the lighthouse. Honestly, like I wouldn't have thought that. But I
What's the
agree with you. I agree with you. I think that their acting was great. Did I like the movie as much? Not so much. But
really?
yeah, I just didn't. It didn't grab me like that. It had some good elements, and it's shot not well. I loved everything about like the way it looked and stuff like that, and I loved the acting in it. It's just that it just didn't grab me like say, and I know you didn't care for it as much, but it's Hereditary or Midsummer. Those
Oh,
movies grabbed me a lot more than
yeah. So here's the
Lighthouse.
thing. I know we're getting off topic, but here's the thing about those films. This director that did this and The Witch. Oh, I prefer him much more than I do the other guy. I think they're both really good. I don't want to say that I don't want anyone to think I don't think they're good, but I think this guy's I don't know he's got something special about the way he films movies.
I agree.
The Witch
Which was
I
scary.
thought
It was
was
terrifying.
The Witch I didn't like as much, but the atmosphere of that movie, oh my god,
It felt like it was of its time. Like it felt like
yeah,
you just plopped down into like the
yeah,
early 1300s or whatever. I don't know what
and,
era that was, but
and everybody I went to with that movie hated it. I was the only one that liked it. and I gave the excuse. Well, I got to see the goat do something. I got to see the goat kick him. Philip was awesome in that movie. But yeah, I really like his style though. I like he's different. He's unique. And I like that. I like his style. I'm a fan.
mhm. Yeah,
But the guy that did Hereditary, it's
in
not that I didn't
Midsummer.
like the movie. In Midsummer, I think Midsummer is a better movie. I would prefer to watch Hereditary, but I think Hereditary is better. What he did in that movie, I just do not want to see again. But I think it's amazing.
Well, how I feel about all right, and I know we're off topic. I apologize, guys, but so how I feel about Hereditary and Midsummer is that like Hereditary for one, I felt like at first it was like, oh man, what is this? But then like
Yeah,
I started paying attention to some of the stuff like when she turns off the light and sees her mom, like but isn't sure if she's seeing her mom in the darkness. It was creepy, and then
yeah, it was.
it and then like all the little horror elements, and then like the when that movie tilted. I'm not gonna ruin it for people. When something happens, the movie tilted to a different place, and I was like, "What in the world is this?" And then it went really like the ending was like, "Oh my gosh!" But then Midsummer was that type of movie where like man, oh man, Pugh, Florence Pugh,
Yeah,
she was so good in it. I felt her pain, I felt her emotion. Like you said, that's a movie that I seen once and I will never watch again. Not because it's bad. It's just that it's a very hard movie to watch, man. It's a very
yeah.
hard one to watch,
That movie will mess you up. It will mess you up. It
man.
messed me up. I know that. I loved her in it though. I love the movie itself, but it's a movie you can watch once and you'll never forget.
Absolutely. Like I can tell you right now everything that happened in that movie, man. And
Yeah,
I don't have to watch it ever again. It's just one of those movies that just stick with you. It sticks to your
and I
bones,
think
man.
that's how I feel about the lighthouse. Like I don't want to see it again, but I'm curious about that ending though. Like that ending really confused me. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, the ending was so oh my goodness.
It's
Like
like,
we didn't cover the lighthouse at all on this channel, but I believe we both have letterboxes about Lighthouse.
yeah, I don't remember what score I gave. It was between a 4 and a 5, but
Yeah, I thought I gave it maybe a 3.5 or so. But like I said, just it's not Robert Pattinson. I do agree with you. We'll get off this because but I do agree with you. He's gonna kill his Batman. I think people should get over the fact that he played in Twilight and
Oh God,
really just stop because
he's grown so
yeah,
much as an
yes,
actor.
yes.
Oh my
It's
God.
like that's like being like Heath Ledger can't play the Joker because he was in what's that movie? Not 10 Things I Hate About You because I like him in that, but the movie where he's a knight, Knight's Kingdom or whatever. I don't know. It's so
Knight's
dumb.
Tale.
There you go. He was in that. So who cares? People start off doing roles that they can get. Freaking Lawrence Fishburne played a cowboy on Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure,
He
Pee Wee's
sure did.
Playhouse. But he
He
went on to
sure
be
did.
Morpheus, and he went on to be one of the best actors
Oh, he's
out there.
amazing.
Yeah. So people need to stop, and I'm gonna get off my soapbox, but people need to stop doing that. Because the guy Robert Pattinson can act. If you don't believe me, watch several of his other films that he's in. He does a great job at it.
Watch anything recent, because he will blow you away. I look forward to him as Batman. I'm curious. I think I'm a big Ben Affleck guy. But I'm telling you right now, I think Robert Pattinson is gonna outperform him. I think he's gonna outperform George Clooney, Val Kilmer, uh, Christian Bale, and Michael Keaton.
And Michael.
Even though Keaton's in conversation to return, but I think Battison is gonna be one of the best I've ever seen, if not the best.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. People just need to give the guy a chance, man. To be the
Yeah,
guy, be the bat.
I, I'm not sure what I would compare. I guess I would compare him to Tom Hanks. Tom started in comedy, right? No one thought this guy's going to be a big dramatic actor, and he blew people away, especially in Philadelphia. I think that was probably one of the first roles he got that he was like, okay, this guy's got something. Then Forrest Gump came around, and Apollo 13. That's what I would compare it to. Because they look at at Tom as okay, the guy that played Big, gonna be a serious actor. Come on, or even Travolta, the guy that did Look Who's Talking, gonna get the Chili Palmer and get short.
Look at Bruce Willis.
Yeah, Bruce is another example.
Bruce started out as a comedic actor, and people didn't believe he could do Die Hard, but now but you now put him with the action guys. You put him in that conversation because he is he transformed what it meant to be an action hero in the time in which he came out in Die Hard, and so
And you forget he was a comedic actor.
Yeah, he was a comedic. Yeah, you forget that he's a comedic actor, but you realize, oh yeah, he does have comedy chops when you see him on Friends, or when you see him, do anything like the whole 9 yards, anything like that. You do realize, yeah, he does have comedy chops because he's a funny guy. You know what I'm saying? But you forgot about it because you just see him as action Bruce. But Robert Pattinson, like he even there's a movie on Netflix, the King, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
He's in there, and he plays this like smug guy, but there's a moment of comedic things that happen in that movie, and you just laugh and Robert Pattinson does it, and he does it well, and he is okay to make fun of himself, and and in Lighthouse, it's a very uncomfortable movie sometimes to watch, but
It's very uncomfortable.
yeah.
Certain scenes in that movie.
Yeah.
Woo.
But we didn't get off topic, but sort of not because Lighthouse, Fog, it all's connected, kind of. No, but
Not really. But
no, it's not really. But yeah, that's been our review for the Fog, 1980. I recommend anyone watch it. As Brandon said earlier, Amazon Prime, $3.99 to rent. But it's a slower burn type of horror of its time. It's not going to grab everybody. It is what it is, man. And now I've got more accustomed to the more faster paced horror films. I have even as well, but it is what it is. I liked it though. Brandon, do you recommend it that people watch it at least?
Yeah, yeah. I think. I mean, form your own opinion on it. Give it a chance. If you've never seen, I say you've never seen a Carpenter film, I wouldn't recommend it be your first.
No, I
But
recommend Halloween be your first, in my
well,
opinion. I recommend
I would
Halloween. No,
recommend.
I recommend The Thing be your first Carpenter film.
Yeah, The Thing's my favorite. But if you don't watch The Thing first, you watch Halloween. In my opinion. But you can't really go wrong. Well, you can, but you can't go too wrong with Carpenter. I mean, I would recommend it. I would recommend renting it if because it's not streaming anywhere if you don't own it. So
Unfortunately, yeah.
I don't know why they just took it off. It made me
Stupid Shutter.
so mad.
Stupid Shutter.
Um,
If
but
y'all want to sponsor this though, we appreciate it.
yeah, we're still looking for that sponsor. But yeah, I mean, it's a slow burn horror film, with zombie slasher elements, with a ghost story that hits us here. It hits us. He's from Bowling Green. I'm from Russellville. It hits us. My last name's Spivey. There's Spivey Point. There's Russellville Road.
I believe that's on purpose. I believe John knows your parents and knows somebody in your family. Seriously, like it is no coincidence that Spivey Point is a name in that movie. It is no coincidence. There is some reason that is in there.
You had to know somebody. I mean,
I'm convinced.
I have never heard of any John Carpenter stories at family reunions, though.
But who knows? Like there could be family that just don't even realize that he went on to be John Carpenter, the director.
That's true.
Like
Maybe
they might have known him as.
Guy.
Huh?
He could have hated. I don't know. I would think he would have liked the guy to make it Spivey Point, but then again, maybe not.
I mean,
but I don't know.
Hey, I know this is off topic, but Wes Craven hated the Freddy Krueger that was in his life, who was a bully, but he ended up making him like one of the biggest horror icons.
That is true. You know what? I had an uncle that was a bully. He used to tell me stories how he would bully kids. That'd be something if that was the case.
Could be. Your uncle could have.
I would be very upset if
your uncle was probably Biff Tannen, man. Your uncle was probably Biff Tannen. Let's be real. But
let's be real. But no one's as cool as Biff. I mean,
Biff ain't cool. Come on now.
Biff is cool.
That's a conversation for a different day, Brandon. But all right. Well, hey, I thank everyone. Anything you want to tell the people, Brandon?
I appreciate you listening. It's first episode back from me. Appreciate this podcast, actually. Aaron, appreciate it. I enjoy it. But I do have a question for you. Mm-hmm. What's next?
Ooh, what's next? All right. So,
who's next? What's next?
What's next? So we just did horror section. I think we're gonna lighten it up with something. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. I will let you know or let the people know. I don't know. I would like to go. I was thinking about doing. Let me tell you what's been on my mind, and I'll let you all know. All right. So 2 movies. I was thinking about either going Jurassic Park because why not? Right. It came back out in theaters. In the theaters that is open, and it was doing really well, like the best grossing movie in theaters at one point. Or I was thinking about doing Rise of the Planet of the Apes. But if I do Rise of the Planet of the Apes, I'm going to have to do all the Planet of the Apes, and I don't really have time right now to do that. So I think we are going to take a journey to Jurassic Park on the next episode of the Markout Movie Podcast.
Well, as they say, it's time to go back to Jurassic Park. That's a great choice. It's in Jurassic World 3 is in production right now. Why not? I mean, it's in the news right now. So,
and it's summer still, man. You got to do a big summer movie, and Jurassic Park is a big summer movie. And we can be nostalgic. So yeah, hey guys, tune into that one, man. Next week we go to Jurassic Park and learn about the dinosaurs. That was my trying to be the Mr. DNA. It did not work.
That guy sounded like Robin Williams to me.
Oh man, I miss Robin.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would have been great if his voice by Robin Williams.
It would have been. It wasn't, but it would have
Could you
been.
imagine that? Could you imagine that being something that nobody knew, that Robin Williams voiced Mr. DNA and nobody knew it except for Spielberg?
I mean, they did work on Hook. I mean,
I
but
don't
yeah,
know.
I
Who
mean,
voiced it? Look it up. I don't know.
no, it wasn't him. It wasn't him. I looked it up last time I watched it. It wasn't him. I was like, man, it sounds so like Robin. I was like, I'll flip out if it was him. But no, it wasn't. I forget who it was, but it wasn't him.
All right.
Sadly.
But yeah, next week, guys, for the Markout Movie Podcast, we're gonna go. Does it hold up? And we're doing.
We know it does, but you
Maybe-
know what? It'll be good.
Maybe it's no point to do it. Does it hold up? We know it does, but it's Jurassic Park. We're going to Jurassic Park, guys.
Yeah,
We're gonna go fast. Go really, really fast. Jurassic Park, one of the best films. One of my favorite films of all time is Jurassic Park. Of my childhood, it came out when I was a kid. I loved it.
It's number 3 for me, only behind Jaws and Rocky. But I love that movie. It's classic.
So that's where we're going next week, guys. Well, thank you this week for tuning into the Markout Movie Podcast. I am Aaron Whitlow.
I'm Brandon Spivey.
And as always, Brandon, you can say what I say. Go ahead.
Well, as always, thank you for marking out with us.